I was like in Mississippi. It's just like St. Louis and East St. Louis is like Baton Rouge and Port Allen, except it's not at all Baton Rouge and Port Allen. So I'm a senior. I am majoring in English. Creative writing is my concentration. I'm minoring in communication studies and linguistics. And about over a year ago, this was like November of 2014, a professor in one of my courses, I approached him and I said, hey, I want to do like a thesis project. What kind of stuff can I do in comm studies? Because in other departments, they have you write like these research papers and stuff like that. And so he was like, well, there's several things that you could do. You could do a paper, or you could direct a show. You direct a play over in the Black Box in Coach Hall. And I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. I would love to do that. And so I started working on this idea. And originally, I wanted it to, I always had the title, Black Enough was the title. I'll pass this around, some information about it. And so I was thinking about the concept of double consciousness, which was introduced by W.E.B. Du Bois in the early 1900s. And he makes this argument where in America, the African American has to navigate between these two completely separate identities, and yet they're intertwined. It's the African side, your blackness, and then the fact that you are an American. And so these two things, they contradict one another in so many ways, and yet they're still connected. And so every black person who has ever lived in this country has had to deal with this in one way or another, no matter what class or where you're from or what time you were born. And so I was really interested in how that functions today, and particularly in my own life. And so that's how the project started. And then one day, I want to say about 6 months ago, I was watching an episode of The Twilight Zone, like the old Twilight Zone for Forrest Whitaker. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, if y'all haven't watched the old ones, y'all should really go back and watch the old ones. They're only like 25 minutes long, and they're on Netflix too. But I was watching this episode of The Twilight Zone, and it was called The Obsolete Man. And I couldn't help but see the parallels between what was going on in that episode and the dynamic history of the black people in this country. And so I actually completely revamped the performance that I was working on, the play that I was writing, and I decided to adapt that and make it fit the context of the black community. And so today we are actually 2 weeks from the opening of this play, and it's called Black Enough. John, pull it. Yeah. The performance is called Black Enough, and it runs from February 3rd through February 5th of this year, and it will be held over in the Black Box in Coates Hall, room 137. It is essentially free. They ask for donations at the door, so you basically can pay whatever you want to come see this. Now the play itself is about a character. A young lady, her name is Aman. Aman Black is the name of the main character. It's being played by Ms. Jasmine Herndon over here. Aman, the play starts out, Aman is on trial. This is a dystopian, like alternate reality of America where the government is totalitarian, and they decide what you can read, how to live your life, even more restrictively than you can imagine how it is today. And so Aman's on trial because she wants to become a leader. She wants to go off to college and make something of herself, and that's not allowed. That's illegal. And so yeah, here's some information. Sorry. That's illegal. And so she's on trial, and they make the decision to sentence her to death because the kind of shit that the kind of stuff that she does. I'm sorry. We're allowed to. Okay, the kind of shit that she does is not allowed, and so it's punishable by death, and they make that decision. And so the rest of the events in the play unfold based off of the fact that they're going to sentence her to death and kill her off. There are some other folks who are involved in this show that are here. Ms. Stephanie Rogers, she's playing a role. Ms. Catherine, how do you pronounce her name?
Elam.
Elam, she's also playing a role. And then, is it Doctor yet?
It is.
It's Doctor. Just received her PhD in performance studies, right, last semester, and she's also working on it. There are some movement pieces throughout the show, and just to encourage you some more, the performance itself isn't that long. It's less than an hour. It'll be between like 45, 55 minutes long, so it's like watching an episode of like Scandal or something. Or Empire, if y'all watch Empire. I don't watch Empire. But yeah, so it's not that long. It's really interesting, and we are really challenging. We're challenging the perception that is widely accepted today, in that the baby boomer generation in the Black community has been put on this pedestal. You know, the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, all those figures that you learned about growing up in school. We're challenging the notion that these figures are sanctified, that they're untouchable and beyond criticism. And we're also challenging the notion that for whatever reason, we as millennials can't reach those heights and can't be leaders on that level and can't be put in history books and referred to in the same context. Or that if one of our generation does become a leader like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, that it would only be a handful. It would only be like a reincarnation. You only have a Barack Obama. You only have a Michael Jordan every so often, right? And so those are all things that the play is challenging. And yeah, the press kit thing is going around. Does anybody have any questions about it?
So I see that it debuts Wednesday at 7:30.
Yes.
Right after this class. So I was wondering.
We're negotiating over here. We're gonna get to in a minute about what we're doing. But don't come up with any ideas yet, because you could get yourself a worse deal than what we're gonna get you. So wait for us, and then
we'll negotiate.
Yeah, we're gonna negotiate. We're trying to work out a sweet deal.
Yeah,
Did you get like any inspiration from a book called Parallel? So
no, I haven't. No, what's it?
because it was like all this similar like concepts I think.
Yeah. Okay. No, I didn't. That's really cool. I have to look it up. Yeah, a lot of the inspiration for the show came from the episode of The Twilight Zone. Actually, Kanye West's Runaway music video that he came out with for his previous album. That a lot of the aesthetic from that is influencing the visuals and the lighting of all of that stuff for the show. So it's really like a mashup of that short film and the episode of The Twilight Zone. Anybody else have any questions? I also came to ask you guys for some help. Conversation. Yes, I do need some actors. No lines are involved. It's really simple. I mean, if there's one role left, and it's for a male. So if you're just that interested, and you're that enthusiastic, then we can talk about that. But yeah, that's what we're getting ready to talk about. So there are two things in the play as part of the performance. We want to have between 5 or 6 people to sit as plants in the audience, because in the episode, I'll tell you, it's really cool. In the episode of The Twilight Zone, they have some folks that sit off to the side and they are reacting to what's happening on the stage. And so in the middle of the episode of The Twilight Zone, before the main character is killed, it's actually being broadcast to the entire world. So the thing is being filmed, right? And so our main character in the second act, spoiler alert, she gets shot. I'm sorry. It's basically the Twilight Zone's been out. The episode's been out for like 50, 60 years ago. So, It's been out there, the story's out there. But she dies. She's killed by a police officer. We've really made it. We've really taken the episode and made it more contemporary, and to kind of fit the role of the camera. We would like for you guys, when you're sitting in the audience, we'd like for you guys to record it with your phones, because that's what's happening today. That's what's happening when we have the police killing. So we're really trying to notch it up a level and ratchet up a level, and make it more interactive, and so that the folks who are actually just coming to watch the play feel like they're not just watching the performance, but that they're part of it, right? And so if you all are interested, it's really simple, won't take that much of your time. Like I said, the play opens in 2 weeks, so the time commitment would be just like an hour or two a night for 3 nights this week, 3 nights next week, and then the show runs for 3 nights the week after that. So if you are interested, I would love to have you, and actually, the fact that y'all, first of all, this is the first class that I've been here since 2010. It's the first time I've seen this many black people in one class. Honestly, that is fucking awesome. But
That was a big word. Swearing fun, but that was a big one.
But so there's that, and then if anyone has ever seen clips, or if you were fortunate enough to visit, may not visit, but go to one of Kanye West's Yeezus tours, performances, there is a bit in there where he uses these female models to kind of make a throne. They like pick him up and carry him around and stuff. And so we wanted to recreate something like that. It doesn't have to be all women, or black people, or white people, or college students. And so we're looking for that. That's about 6 people as well. So if you're interested in doing that, that honestly is even easier than the first thing that I was talking about. And let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that would encourage you to want to participate. We're trying to work something out with American Apparel to provide the costumes for this.
Do I keep them?
There's that. Yes.
What time do you need them?
So there's that opportunity. Hopefully we'll know more about that this week if they want to be involved. But yeah, so there's that. We're also trying to make this more than just a one-time performance. If you've seen the press kit that's going around, we're actually raising money through Kickstarter right now. We're trying to raise like $3,000 so that we can actually film the performance and submit the film to different conventions and conferences and festivals and stuff like that. So the goal is to actually not make this a one-time thing. So if you're involved in this in any capacity, we would definitely have you come back and do stuff again at other places. Like we're trying to put this performance on also at Southern and some places down in New Orleans as well. So this is a really good opportunity for you to challenge yourself, to branch out, do something different. Because I'm not getting paid for this. No one is getting paid for this. I'm not even getting a grade for this. I'm literally doing this just because I think that the message and the ideas behind this is important. And I think that particularly at a predominantly white institution, these kinds of stories need to be had, need to be experienced and discussed, talked about. So if you are interested at all, and even if you say like, okay, Akeem, I don't really have time to do this, but I want to be involved in some kind of way, send me a message, send me a thing on Facebook. My name's all over the thing. Otherwise, we'll be in the Black Box, which is room 137 in Coates Hall. We'll be there tonight until 8 p.m., tomorrow 5 to 8, the day after that 5 to 8, and then a few more times next week. So if you are interested, please come talk to me, and yeah, I would love to have you. Anybody else got any questions about this at all? Yes, no, maybe? Any criticism? What's up?
So when exactly are the shows going to happen?
The play opens 2 weeks from today, Wednesday, February 3rd at 7:30 p.m. over in Coates. Was that what you were asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, speaking of that, here. Are you going to do it? All right. So, what we're going to do to support our brother Akeem here And since it's such a great discussion and it's kind of centered around what we're discussing throughout the semester, we're going to propose to y'all something. If I can open this really quick. So we have a little change in our syllabus, which those of you who don't have it, remind me. We're going to send out the new syllabus once I get all the days pushed back what we're about to do. You know I know what I'm doing. Hold on. I'm learning how to work computers. Yeah, can you see it?
No.
No.
You paid with.
Wait a minute. Shut up. Alright, give me to the calendar. So what we're proposing to y'all while he gets the calendar right, because I don't know what I'm doing, is on February 3rd, since it's opening on a Wednesday and we have class on a Wednesday, in lieu of coming to class.
Can you make it? There we go.
Here we go. So February 3rd. So as you see, the syllabus changed. It was supposed to be chapter 4 on February 3rd, but and I'll send this out to everybody. We moved chapter 4 to next week. Where's group 2? Anybody remember who was in group 2? Yeah. And we're gonna send that list out again so y'all can know what group y'all in. But is group 2 okay with presenting next week?
See, and I was ready for you. I told them they're gonna say no. We gotta back up to that too.
So
How about you get people to volunteer for group 2?
well, no, we already got our group. Why are you trying to mess up our?
I'm trying to negotiate, I'm trying to help you out.
So listen, so this is what we're gonna do. Group 1 is already presenting next week, because that's on the syllabus. So group 1 should know who they are. We'll send out a reminder email and whatnot tonight. But group 2, if you're not okay with presenting next week, we'll push yours back to February 17th now, because the 10th is Mardi Gras break, and then 17th is gonna be group 2 now, chapter 4.
Episode 2 now. Move on.
Right, so don't look at the documentary episodes, we're gonna push all those down. All this is gonna be adjusted and sent to you via email. So now what we're gonna do is, let me break this down. January 27th, which is next, is that next week?
Yep.
Yes, January 27th, group 1 is gonna present chapter 3, right? Right, and we will watch documentary episode 1 and have our normal discussion in class. The following week, February 3rd, in lieu of coming to class, we're going to go to the show, Black Enough, at 7:30 p.m. Okay? If you cannot make it that Wednesday night at 7:30
Like if
p.m.
you have to go to walk-ons for chicken.
Right? If
I'm going to
walk-on special
walk-ons
is popping.
regardless. Showing up.
So if the walk-on special is popping that Wednesday night, you can go on Thursday or Friday, and we will have an attendance list so that your attendance is counted for that week. Is that understood? Huh?
What week is that?
This is the week of February 3rd, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Might I ask that if you all decide that you're going to go on, if not everybody's going on the same day, that you guys,
Does anybody have a conflict on the 3rd that would prevent them from going at 7:30?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Any
I have no
known
idea.
conflicts, like you know for a fact.
Anybody know that you can't be there at 7:30?
if you guys, if y'all.
Because I think as an act of solidarity, it's nice if we go as a class. I mean, I'm going to be at a conference, so I won't be there, but I think if y'all go as a class, this is going to be cool.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was, if you all, even if you can't go on Wednesday, if you all would, let your instructors or your professor know, which night you plan on attending, so that, I can reserve the seat for you. Because the other thing too is that you all wanna make sure that you show up at like 7, instead of 7:30, because there's limited seating, because it's a room that's about, I would say, maybe twice the size of this room. Maybe a little bit bigger, but there's not unlimited seating. This isn't like a space like in the M&DA building. So you guys show up early and also let them know what night you plan on coming so that I can have that seat reserved for you on that night. And then remember that the tickets are free, but they do ask for a donation at the door.
So ideally, we'll all go, instead of coming to class that Wednesday, we'll go to the play. Like I said, on the first day, we're trying to build a sense of community. This is a way to do that. All of us going to see the play at the same time. So that would be the ideal situation. If you can't do that, let us know. But
And if you're going, right, let's say 7 to 8:30, that's still less time than you would have been in class that day. So that's a cool deal.
And then we're gonna walk on Jack.
Yeah, we're going to walk-ons, that's gonna be.
Are we going together?
Yo, can we go together?
I'll go.
Yo.
Let's go. Oh, I'm not going to be there.
It's gonna be okay.
I mean, we're laughing, but we're serious. Like, if y'all, we'd love to go to this as a group, as a class, and then go to walk I'm not dropping none of y'all. So, I'll meet y'all there.
Is it count as history? It's like in that.
But, so we'll send out this new syllabus again, like we said, it'll be updated, we'll make sure we send that out tonight. Speaking of, I'm sorry, before we get to that, any other questions for Akeem, for the team that's doing the play? Any questions about that night? Anything?
Anybody interested?
Extra credit for performance?
Yes.
There's extra credit for performance?
Why you always like this? Just live, enjoy the class. Just enjoy one
But you already know you're getting a good grade in class, but sure, you can have
So they're gonna email y'all my contact information. As soon as you have that, reach out to me. I don't sleep, so I know, but that's the struggles we're in.
I think you should really reach out to Dillard University. That's something they usually do.
I'm sorry?
Like you should, yeah.
In New Orleans? Yeah, sure. Oops, sorry.
That's something you really do.
She just recommended that I reach out to Dillard University. Yeah.
I went to see.
That's right, but they still do stuff like that. They got a good drama program.
Xavier got a better one, but that's all right.
Okay, yeah. So those folks who are interested, seriously, y'all reach out to me for sure, and I will respond to it as soon as you send me something.
If you want to put your number up, you can do that. If not, we'll email out to
Yeah,
you.
we have chalk.
Yeah, it's in the well.
It's not. I lied. No? We don't have to. So when you gonna email?
Yes, exactly.
We'll do it the old-fashioned way.
It is. We don't email it out.
Maybe not that. I'm not trying to do that.
Type it on the word up there.
Oh, yeah, you can type it on the percent. With your book bag?
Ready to.
You are. Class coming too.
Stand up, man.
Oh, we can hear. So one more thing we want to add, one more thing that we're going to add to every week is sort of like a I would say creative events, current events section. So I don't know, for some of y'all came in like right at 4:30, but before class and as class starts, we have music rolling or whatever. So this week's music, if y'all paid attention to it, was songs related to like the transatlantic slave trade and all those different things. So it's like